Hi everyone, it is Maggie again, and I am here with another project share. And yes, it's another Doily Mini. This is a little larger than the ones I've been making, and I'm calling this one Springtime, because I so want it to be spring. And so it's very flowery and pastel. I think you'd call it shabby chic, but I'm never sure. But anyways, this is the front, and then on the side, I just used it gathering an elastic ribbon, this lavender one, and then I added all the different color seam bindings to use the different colors that you'd find in spring. And then I added this beautiful pink pearl piece. I'm not sure what it was. I think it had a little loop on it, so it could have been like a pendant. And I put that on this just to cover the spine. And then this is the back. And this beautiful lace and fabric and doily flower is a flower that Natasha made for me. And she sent it in one of my birthday boxes, and it just went perfectly. The colors were perfect for springtime, and it went perfectly around the doily. All right, so let me start with the front cover. This is a flower that Irina, the Passion for Craft, made for me. There's a couple of different doilies on the front of this. Then there's this avocado dyed applique type of trim that I put on top of that. And then I put the flower on top of that. There's an applique here with these flowers, this dangle, and I added the flowers with the rhinestones and also the clay flowers just to make it look like more like a springtime bouquet. And then this here is a separate flower with the applique with the pearl. And then here's a different flower, little dangle applique with a tiny rhinestone piece that I put in the middle there. And then there's just like several layers of dangles. I'm not going to go through every detail because it will take too long, but you can see as I'm showing you. And then this is the flower page. This is a peachy color flower, and I went around the perimeter of the doily for this side of the page with 2 rows of this. It's not box pleated, but it's like a scallop fabric. And on the bottom, here's some more dangles. This piece here, I added 2 of my rhinestone pieces, and then there's just dangles under there. And then here's the first image, and she has some like purplish color flowers she's holding. She's got this exact color from this acrylic flower here in her dress, so I used that flower to bring out the color of her dress. This one has a couple of different doilies on top of each other. I added these pearls around the perimeter of this doily here. And then I just went around framing the image with different pieces of appliques. Here's a rose dangle applique piece, and I also added the pearls onto here. And then here's like a daisy. I cut it in half just for a little just to be a little different, and I didn't want to hide this here, the flowers that she's holding. And then I added this acrylic rhinestone flower on top of that, and I just let this dangle down, and this was avocado dyed. And then you can see there's layers here underneath here. And then you go to the next 2 pages, and these are image pages. And here's the image here. There's 3 doilies on here. I added this little trim going around to cover the edges of the image, and I added each little rhinestone individually to the middle of these little tiny flowers. And then this is a different piece here, and I added a little clay flower there. This was avocado dyed, this here, and then I added 2 rhinestone buttons there, and that's all I did. On all the other layers were actually on the other side. But when you put it together, you can't tell how many layers are on each page. They all just dangle together. And then on this image, I did that double row again here. I just love this trim. And so I went around again, and then I used a couple of different, this is actually a doily behind and underneath the image. And then I went around the image with this little lace there, and then you can see there's some dangles there, and this beautiful trim here. It just reminds me, I think, of kind of like a fence with a trellis, so I added my different clay flowers to that. So that's those 2 pages. And then here's the pocket page. I used 2 doilies for the pocket. This doily here, and then this matches the doily. I folded it in half, and I just placed it so that you would still see the star. If you can see the star in the middle, it just matches it. And I added a acrylic and rhinestone flower in the middle of that, and then the clay flowers in the points. And then this little trim here going across the top of the pocket. And then I added this dangle flower applique with the rhinestone piece. And then there's more dangles here. And then here's the last one. I love this photo of Lily Elise. And there's a couple of different doilies underneath. And I framed her out with this trim here. It's actually a double trim that I cut in half. Little clay flowers around. Here's another flower applique with a pearl. This is a different flower applique here. I added a rhinestone piece in the middle. This is a beautiful rose trim here that I used on the top, and then there's more dangles underneath. And then we're back to the back again. So this, and you can see how full all the dangles are. I just love the way that looks, and it just fits it so perfectly. So that's it. That's my latest doily, a mini, and I'm not sure. I may put this up for sale. I'll put my email address in the description box. If you're interested, you can send me an email and let me know. I did sell my other doily minis. I just had way too many of them. But now, except for the couple that I keep in my hutch because of some different meanings behind them, this is a new one. And I really don't have the room, so I'm not sure. But anyways, if you're interested, just send me off an email, and I'll get back to you. So that's it. That's the doily album. I hope you like it. I like how it came out, and it does remind me of springtime, which I can't wait to get here. So thanks for watching, everyone, and if you'd like, leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.